Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode on the modded series. How you guys doing today? You know, I'm doing really good. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I'm having a really great day. We are back playing Direwolf20 again today. Oh boy, I'm excited to get into today's episode, guys. But of course, we have to start out somewhere, and I decided to start our video in the quarry world. I don't know why. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm in the middle of doing something which is kind of pointless now that it's turning daytime, but I thought I'd show off our giant holes. They're pretty massive. No innuendos can be found in the making of this video, I swear. So I'm here because I'm actually running around killing these guys. I'm killing out some endermen because I need some ender pearls, and I'm really hoping these guys don't teleport. Oh, takes a second. Oh, the world's a little laggy. Oh, there we go. So I'm killing off these endermen because I need some ender pearls because I wanted to make more things for die. Oh god, these guys do take a lot of damage though, and that's really loud. Oh lord. Can I pick these up now? Thank you. Oh my god, that was loud. Okay. I got my ender pearls. I'm probably gonna have to edit that down in post because of how loud that was. I could have sworn my sounds were a lot lower than that, but I'm having to come over here to find endermen because it's really hard to find them in the overworld, and generally speaking, because it's a flat area here, it's a lot easier to find them, but that's actually the only two that I've seen so far, and I've been in here for a couple minutes. Oh no, come back! No, I need those. Don't you dare fall. No, come back. Get in my inventory. Thank you. So I need ender pearls because I wanted to go ahead and make a bunch of different things for Botania, which is what we're going to be jumping back into today. And while I was doing that, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to have to go into the quarry world to find endermen anymore. So I think next episode we're going to go fight the ender dragon. So I've been waiting to do that for a while, just because I was wanting to get specific items to go fight the ender dragon. There's nothing really special about it in modded, and I know you can resurrect it. And I know there's other dragon fights inside the end that I didn't want to spoil because they're part of Draconic Evolution, but I don't think Draconic Evolution has changed the regular dragon fight. So I do believe that we'll be starting. I want to do that next episode just so I can get massive amounts of ender pearls online without having to go around and trying to waste a bunch of time trying to find ender pearls. So today I wanted to jump straight back into Botania. The first thing I want to do is I want to start working on large quantities of mana storage. So right now all I've got is this guy. All I got is this mana pool, and that's my only mana storage. But now I want to go ahead and upgrade this. So there is a little system that I use to increase my mana storage in a way. Where's my bag? Oh, there it is. My bag and diamonds look the same. I need my axe here. Where's my axe at? Thank you. But there is a way that I usually increase my mana storage by using something called a mana distributor. I think that's what it's called. Is that, nope, can I not spell? There's a thing in here that's called something. Where is he at? Mana detector. No, I don't think that's it. There's something in here that allows me to evenly distribute mana between 4 different mana pools at the same time. So I want to go ahead and make one of those, and then that'll allow me to distribute mana into 4 different mana pools. Now I'm going to then use that and then tile it upwards, and then be able to use these mana spreaders to then squirt mana through up the line upwards. Well, at least that's my plan. But the first thing I need to do is start getting rid of this stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is just make a mass quantities of what are they called? Mana pearls and mana diamonds, because I know you're going to need these inside of several different crafting recipes. So let's see, we got those now, and now I think I'm just going to use the rest of it for mana steel. I have half a pool of mana. Let's go ahead and just fill this completely back up because I can. It looks like I'm already filled all the way up, but let's just throw it on there anyways. There we go. Stick that back on, and then I think the rest of it I could just turn into mana steel. That should be probably about the best thing for me to do, considering mana steel, I mean, it's not really that useful. The only thing you really use mana steel for is I know you use it in a couple different crafting recipes. We can make the mana steel tools and stuff like that, which would be pretty much I don't want to say useless, because what they're used for, if you're only playing Botania and you don't have OP stuff like I do now, let me grab some iron, and you don't have OP stuff like I do now, what's really cool about the mana steel stuff is whenever you enchant it, you have a better chance of getting higher enchants. At least that's the way that it used to be. Also, it would never lose durability as long as you had mana on your person, which is really, really cool. Wow, that didn't even take up half the mana pool. How much did that use? Let's see, we're from there. Wow, I didn't take up as much mana as I thought it was going to. Maybe I can go grab some more ender pearls and make some more mana pearls. So anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and use up the rest of this mana pool, and then we're gonna start working on our mana storage. Hada-boom. Okay, and then hada-boom. Hopefully this will use up the rest of it. Oh, we're close. How much do we have left in here? Not much. Do I have anything else to throw in there? Is that even worth keeping? It actually is. I don't want to waste mana. Mana's actually, it's not super hard to come by, but you do have to wait quite a bit of time to gather it. So I don't want to waste it if I don't have to. So I think this should be enough to just throw the rest of this iron in here and then completely use up the rest of this mana. Hudda-boom. There we go. All used up. Cool. Are you down? Are we good now? Yes, you're good now. Okay, we can break this now. Okay, so the first thing I want to go ahead and craft is I need something called a mana distributor. So I do believe it's in here somewhere. Oh, they changed it. Oh, it's called a mana splitter now. I thought, oh, it even has a cool model. Oh, that is really cool. Okay, so we're gonna be making ourselves a mana splitter. And I'm really excited about this because they changed the model and I want to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and do this. So boom, and then boom, and then we'll go ahead and do the mana steel, bam, and then we'll go ahead and place this guy here. Oh, that is really cool. Oh, and I like how they raised it up. Oh, that's really, really useful because one of my biggest gripes about this guy, does that have a face on it? I don't know if they meant to do that, but that's kind of funny. But one of my biggest gripes about these guys is that they were the same size as the mana pool, if not a little bit taller. But it was really difficult to get the spreaders to aim at that one spot and not hit any of the mana pools. So I'm really glad that they changed that. Okay, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a couple more mana pools. Let's just do that many. That's perfect. That's 9 of them. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this. And now, if I collect all of these beams, fire your laser into this, please. All of the laser beams will then fire into the distributor, or no, the splitter. It's called a splitter now. Into the splitter, and hopefully, all the mana will then collect in the splitter and then split off into these 4 different ones. So let's go ahead and test this out and make sure that it's working. We'll go ahead and throw a big old stack of coal blocks right here. Oh. Good. There it is. I love that. I love that to death. Okay. Is it working? You're working. Cool. Okay. So now the next part. To make sure that this whole thing is going to work in the end, let's just look at this real quick. Are you distributing evenly? Looks like it is. I don't think that's interfering because that one's there. I think that it's making it across. That was one of the things I was worried about. If you're too far away, if you're too close, it might end up interfering with the one in front of it. So it looks like it's working fine. Okay, so now my only problem is I don't know how high this mana spreader is going to sit on this back one. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and take this up. Let's try this again. Is it clearing it? It looks like it is. Cool. Okay, so that way it doesn't look like this thing's well, yeah, it is. It's accepting mana from the one in the bottom, but it does not look like it's interfering with these mana spreaders, which is what I was worried about. Cool. All right, cool. So that's working like it should be. Okay, I need some more living rock. Do I have any more in here? I don't. Let me go ahead and make some more living rock, and then we're gonna work on building this upwards. Alright, so now I have several different things we can add to this guy. I've got more mana pools, more mana spreaders, and more splitters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a mana spreader on top of all 4 of these guys. And what they're doing is that they're grabbing the mana out of the pools from underneath of them. And because these guys have been splitted into 4 different ways, they should then in turn have the exact same amount of mana inside of them, which is what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me some mana pools, and we're going to go ahead and do this just like so. Now, we could, in theory, just do this, which basically means all the mana spreaders are going to be squirting their mana upwards, and then, of course, when they're doing that, they're going to be filling up evenly. Of course, that this could work in theory, and then I could just put 4 more mana spreaders on top of them and then keep building it upwards like that. But I'm actually going to do something differently. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another splitter here, and I'm just going to test this out because it used to work. I don't know if it still does. And then I'm going to direct all of these mana spreaders into that guy. And it does not look like it's going to work, which is very sad face, because what I wanted to do was I was wanting to have all of these facing into this guy, and then these guys, well, this in turn spreading them evenly into these 4. Now, we're really, to be honest with you, there is no difference in that, because since they're going upwards, it seems that they're doing it just as fine, because Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should work just fine, because what's happening is the mana is basically going from these flowers to these 4 mana pools, and then these 4 mana pools are going to work their way all the way up the chain, and then once one fills up, then of course it'll stop on this one, and then it'll kind of fill up from the top to the bottom, which is basically what I was doing in the first place. So let's go ahead and take the splitter out, and let's just do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 more of these guys here, and then we're going to go ahead and put 4 more mana pools. And then just direct these guys upwards and it should work just fine. Which wasn't what I was wanting to do. But hey, it works. Ha! I'm a genius and I didn't even know it. Okay, so yeah, that works just fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna build this up as high as I wanna go. That's a lot of mana. No, to be honest, it's not a lot of mana. Now that's a lot of mana. So I decided to go ahead and make myself some more Endo Flames. Now we're producing double the amounts of mana that we were doing before. And now we can use all of this mana for what we're going to be doing today, which is I want to start working on getting Terrasteel online. And hopefully, by the time we do get into Terrasteel, which by the way, why does this one have so much more than all the other ones? Question mark? Question mark. Don't exactly know. I just noticed that. We'll probably have to figure that out later. Anyhoozle, well, we can use all this mana that we've got now to then start working on getting some Terrasteel. But before we can get on Terrasteel, we're gonna have to make something else, something called, I do believe it's called a terraformer, something like that. It's basically a plate that allows me to then create Terrasteel from various items. So let's go ahead and take a look at the box. Well, not the box, the book. And if we go over to basic items, Terrasteel should be here. So what Terrasteel is we take something called Mana Steel, which we all know about. We take a Mana Pearl, which we also know about. We just revisited today. And we take something called a Mana Diamond, and we take those and infuse them with more magical mana energy and to create Terrasteel. Terrasteel is used to make various different items along with armor that we'll probably get into. And of course it also has its own set of tools, and it's also really useful for doing sacrifices for later fights in the series, which later fights in the mod pack, which we'll be getting into later. But in order to do that, we have to make something called a Terrasteel Agamenate plate. Yes, we have to make one of these guys, which takes lapis, which we have a bunch of, Mana Steel, which isn't a problem, and then we need to have runes of each of these guys. So we have to have Rune of the Water, Rune of the Earth, Rune of the Mana, Rune of the Air, and Rune of the Fire. Each one of these is made via using this guy over here. Now each one of these has their different recipes. Of course, each one, we've already visited the Rune of the Earth, and I do believe the Rune of the Air we did these two, but these guys of course are made with different ways. Like we need a Mana Steel and a Mana Pearl for that guy. We're gonna need a fishing rod, a sugarcane stick, and some bone meal for that guy. And the fire one requires another wart, gunpowder, and another brick. So yeah, these guys are not too terribly difficult to make, but once we get this guy, we have to build like a little mini altar for it. So we have to make this guy, which requires more lapis and living rock, which we have abundance of. So once we make all of that stuff, then we can go ahead and go and do the actual ritual to make me some the Terrasteel. Oh, which the Terrasteel is actually really good. Which also, we'll explain this when we get into it, but it's a little bit more complicated than just sitting stuff on top of this guy. Alright, did all the crafting for you guys, so that way you didn't have to sit through all that. I mean, we've seen it before. It's the same exact thing, except we're making different kinds of runes. So we've got Rune of the Earth, Rune of the Air, Rune of the Mana, Rune of the Water, and Rune of the Fire. And now if I do this correctly, I don't know what order it's supposed to be in. Oh, I gotta grab my Mana Steel block real quick. Let me grab Mana Steel. Let's go ahead and make that into a block. There we go. And now, actually, instead of just doing this, how about I just do this? Nailed it. Got ourselves our Terra whatever plate. Okay, so now we can just shove the rest of these guys in here. Perfect. Oh, I forgot I had these in there. I didn't have to make those. Oh, well, I've got extras now. Okay, so let's go ahead and just leave that there. This guy's still going. Also, I did some investigating. Now, I think I know why this guy is a little bit more filled up than the rest of them. Actually, now that we've placed this here, this one is too. So what I think is happening, since these guys are exactly the same and these guys are more, is that some of these are actually clipping the bottom mana pool, which is what I thought was going to happen in the first place. Hey, it's a thing. But we're still collecting the mana. they're not completely the same, which, I mean, it kind of bothers me, it kind of does, it doesn't really matter to me, it's a thing. So now, let's go ahead and do the next part, which I need some living rock. Did I make any? Okay, I do have enough, and I brought some lapis too. So let's go ahead and set this up. So the way that this guy works is once we set up a specific arrangement of both living rock, and yes, I know, I sacrificed this tree. It's the perfect spot. He just kind of sits there. So let's go ahead and make this guy, if I set this up correctly, I think it needs to be like this, and then like this. And then if we set this on top, we should be able to use this to then suck up the mana and then be able to create ourselves some Terrasteel. So the way that this works is we need to use mana from these 4 mana pools to then craft Terrasteel. Now that does sound pretty easy, but the problem is, in order to create Terrasteel, you need half of a mana pool, which is the original reason why I made this whole thing in the first place, because we're gonna need a ton of mana to make Terrasteel. 1 Terrasteel ingot takes up half a mana pool, which might not sound like a lot, but that means 2 Terrasteel per mana pool, and it takes forever just to fill up 1 single mana pool. That's a big problem. So there's 2 different ways that we can transfer mana from these mana pools over to here. We can either use the mana spreaders, which is very, very slow, or we can make something called a spark. So let's go ahead and actually make a spark, because I know sparks are way better. So the way that sparks work is you can move mana from point A to point B using the said sparks, and generally speaking, they're a lot faster than mana spreaders. They only work from mana pool to, well, from any kind of mana pool substance to a object. It doesn't work from like flowers to mana pool, unfortunately. I don't believe you can exchange mana between pools with it either. I've never really messed around with that, so well, I don't know if that's actually a true statement or not. So to make these guys, we're gonna need some blizz rods, well no, some blizz powder, some gold ingots, and I bet you I have that stuff in our system up here. Let's see, can I just craft this now? I can't. I don't have any blizz powder. Do I have any blaze rods? I don't have any blaze rods. I gotta go to the nether. All right, sparks have been created. I've got my mana steel. We got a mana pearl, and where's my mana diamonds? Okay, cool. So now I've got no magnet on because I do believe that will interfere with that. So make sure you take your magnet off. We're gonna take ourselves our sparks, put 1 on each one of these guys. And now the reason why I'm only using these guys, well, in the future, I have a feeling once this whole thing fills up, whenever that happens, I don't even know if that's ever going to happen, I might spread more of these down here so that way it's equally distributed between the 3, because the way the sparks work is it will suck up mana, send it over here, and evenly send mana from each of the mana pools that are connected to it. At least I do believe it does that. So what you're going to want to do is set these guys here. These guys are then going to be linked to this guy if you right click with the binding mode. All of those mana, all of those sparks are going to be sending mana to this guy, which should be fine. Now I do know that these guys are not evenly made, like these guys don't have an even amounts of mana in them, but I think whenever these guys end up losing all their mana, it will then be smart enough just to pull it out of these guys. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to test it out. So right now, what we're gonna need to do next is we're just gonna drop these guys on there. Boop, boop, boop. And everything starts to work. The magical of mana gets drawn out from our pools, and then sheep, got ourselves a Terrasteel ingot. So generally speaking, what you're gonna want to do once you make your Terrasteel ingot, let it sit there for a couple seconds, because I know in the older versions it wasn't always done the second. Yeah, I got an achievement too. That's cool. But it wasn't always done the second that it showed the entity on the thing. So every once in a while, I would go to pick it up, and it would just pick up the fragments of it, and it wouldn't pick up the actual Terrasteel ingot, and of course you wasted all that mana. But now if we look at our pools, yeah, there we go. So these guys did decrease, so did these guys, but we still have a ton of mana to do. So let's go ahead and make a couple more of them. I won't be able to make up 24 of them today. I do plan on just AFKing over between this episode and next episode and make a whole bunch of these guys. So that way next episode, I want to be able to use the Terrasteel armor against the dragon fight. That was what my plan was, because I don't believe the Mana Steel armor is going to be enough to defend us against the actual dragon. So that's the whole reason why I wanted to do this. But other things that we can do with Terrasteel, we can make something called a thorn. I don't know what that guy does. I think that might be a weapon, maybe? Question mark. Terrasteel blade, which is actually kind of cool because it shoots out a laser beam every once in a while. I know there's an upgraded form of this that we can end up using. The rod of terra firma, don't know what that does. Of course, the axe, the block, the nougat. We've got ourselves a Gaia's Spirit Ingot. This guy is used for rituals, which we'll be getting into later. The greater form of magnetism, the greater form of mana holding, which means that we can hold even more mana on our person, which I might end up making. We can make ourselves the Terrasteel helmet. The revealing, what does that mean? What's the difference? Is there any difference in the crafting recipe? Spring, doesn't look like it. Oh, you need to make the helmet of revealing. What does that mean? Question mark? How do I make it? Hold on. What can I use you for? I can use you for that. That's question mark. What does even the revealing mean? I don't know. Maybe that means that you can see all of this without actually having to hold the wand of the forest. I don't know if that's actually what that does, but you can use it for several other things other than armor, of course. You can use it to make several different items. Terra Shatter, which is really cool, and the Greater Ring of Mana, which we've seen already. Wait, what was the difference between that and this? The Band of Aura. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Very interesting, but there's a lot of different things that we can create with Terrasteel that's very useful down the road. Terra Shatter, which is the pickaxe for Terrasteel, but there's something different. If you let it suck up mana, it will then increase the range of the mining, which is kind of cool. I think it goes from a 1x1 all the way up to a 7x7 maybe. The more mana that it sucks up. Now the thing is, as the level goes up, because it starts at D and then goes to C, B, A, and then S, and then double S, the more mana that it requires, it takes more mana to go up from C to B than it does from D to C. I think to go from D to C, it's 1 mana pool, and then from C to B, it's like 10 mana pools, and then I do believe B to A is 100, and then even beyond that is even more. I don't know for sure. Maybe even 1,000 mana pools. That would be stupid amount. But anywhoozle, maybe we'll get into that sooner or later. But yeah, that is gonna be it for today's episode, guys. I hope you guys had fun today because I had a ton of fun today. Today's entire episode was made so that a way that we could make Terrasteel. That was what I wanted to accomplish today. Actually, can I make another piece? I think I can. Can I make another piece of Terrasteel? Let's go ahead and make ourselves another piece of Terrasteel. I'm gonna start working off screen to make me just enough Terrasteel to make the armor, and maybe a little bit extra to increase our band of mana and stuff like that, but that's just gonna be a lot of AFKing where I'm just putting cold blocks on these guys. You guys aren't gonna miss anything. Give me that Terrasteel. Yeah, got me 4 of them. But yeah, don't forget to post any questions, comments, or small marks, comment section down there. I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Have all a great and wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video.